Hey, this is Shane Hips with the Home Pros Radio Show. Not only am I a contractor, I also work in the real estate industry. If you own or operate a real estate brokerage that you're considering stepping away from, or if you're planning your retirement, give me a call so we can discuss how to keep your cash flow coming to you. Don't let all of your hard work fall by the wayside. Call me at 864-326-5252. That's 864-326-5252. I look forward to talking to you.
The Home Pros Radio Show. Brought to you by Prime Lending. Home loans made simple. Welcome to the Home Pros Radio Show, the premier resource for the well-informed homeowner. With over 30 years of combined home inspection and renovation experience, your hosts, Tommy Donovan and Shane Hips, help you stay on top of your home improvement and home maintenance needs. Visit homeprosradio.com to access the trusted product and service providers that are a part of our Home Pros network. Find the Home Pros Radio Show on Facebook and Twitter for regular show updates and additional information on the topics covered on our show.
This is a, what would you call this, a toe board on a roof?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm inspecting a house, and I get on the roof, and I see there's one on either side. I actually have two pictures. There's a toe board on either side of this roof. And this house, built in 2015, I think it was, a newer house. I think it's about 7 years old, 7 years old. Not old.
Right.
And but it's clear, as you can see, that by the condition of the wood, that toe board's been up there for quite some time.
The whole time.
So a toe board, for those of you who don't know, is usually a tool that roofers use. It's nothing more than a 2x4 nailed to the roof surface. So, you know, as they're installing the shingles, they'll start at the eave and then work their way up to the top, or maybe in a diagonal fashion or however. And on a steep roofs, they need something to actually support
stand
themselves.
on.
Yeah. So they use toe boards like this that'll nail into the roof, and then they'll, after the roof's installed, pull them out and then seal the holes.
Right.
It seems, you know, it's kind of interesting because it seems counterproductive to do something like that.
Right.
But at the same time, every once in a while I'll be on roofs and I'll notice that, they forgot to pull them off.
Right.
And this house has been sitting here for years with those toe boards there. I was like, well, here's what I found on the roof. Normally it's a recommended repair, but every roofer will also tell you that if you've got something nailed to your roof, if you've got something secured to your roof, don't pull it out because you're going to create a hole.
Create a hole, yes.
And I would say, I told them, you're more likely to get a leak if you pull the toe board out and try to seal it than if you just leave it in like it is.
Right.
So,
I would just pass it on to a roofer. Have a roofer remove this toe board.
That's a good point.
That way they can
They'll
seal
do
it
right.
I wouldn't recommend for a homeowner to go out there and do it, because are they going to do it right? Is there going to be a hole when it's all said and done? But I would just recommend to have a roofer make this repair, because that way you know it's going to be sealed correctly with the correct material.
I think we have a question from our live audience.
Uh-oh.
Did you say how old the house was?
About 5-7 years. I think it was about 7 years old. 2015, no older than that. So, well, I aced that question.
Good job.
Yeah. So, but yeah, those are the types of.
I want to ask the audience why that question was asked.
Yeah, why was that question?
I guess because it's been there for so long, and I wondered how long it was actually there. So
Yeah.
Right.
it's not leaking yet.
It's not leaking.
So it's
Didn't cause any issues. I looked in the attic underneath. There's, so, and we've had roofers on the show before that talked about, like, if you have
when they put a toe board on, is their roof being already underneath that?
Yes.
aspect of it?
Yes, absolutely. That's why
They
they're
go
shingling.
directly on top.
Yes, because at that point they're shingling above that,
Yeah.
and that's why they need the toe boards to hold themselves up on the roof. And of course, we've had roofers on the show before who've said, like, if you have a nail pop or something like that that's exposed, seal it.
Yes.
Don't pull it out.
Right.
Because you're just creating a hole.
Yes. My one concern, though, if they leave it, though, is if this board continues to rot away, eventually
It's
it
gonna
seems
leak.
like there's going to be something there. So,
That's a good point.
It's one of those,
So that's why you defer
to a
To a
roofer,
professional.
to the professional of that trade.
That's
Yes.
it. So we don't. That's why, as inspectors, we don't want to. We want to avoid diagnosing. We make we make recommendations on who to call, but as far as what to do after that,
Do roofers have to go to school? Like, is there like
they're
a-
licensed. They
are
have to be.
licensed?
Yep, they do. And
At least one person has to be licensed.
yeah, well, yeah. I guess that's how it works. You can work under a license if you're, and that's how a lot of folks become licensed. It's
Working under someone else
A lot
first.
of it depends on depends. It depends.
Yeah.
What state you're in and what the requirements are. But in most states, you do.
I think you always have to work under someone else before you can actually get the license, unless you have like a college degree in whatever that is.
Like if you've gone
Like
to what is a vocational school or something like that.
some kind of, if you have a degree somehow, but generally you have to have however many years in that field and be able to pass a test. Depending on what the trade is. I know I did it
Depends.
too, didn't it? Hey, this is Shane Hips with the Home Pros Radio Show. I'm looking for a few real estate agents that are considering a change in brokerage. Maybe you're wanting opportunities to make more money. You're possibly just not happy where you are. You could even be a new agent or considering getting into real estate. If any of these sound like you, give me a call at 864-326-5252 so we can discuss some of the options that are available to you. That's 864-326-5252. Talk to you soon. So yeah, you have to work under someone else first anyway, unless you have a degree in that.
Yep.
Like a building construction or construction science or something like that.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, recommendation here, folks. Just recommend a roofer.
Mm-hmm.
Don't try to tell people what to do about it or anything like that. Just for inspectors out there, note your observation and then move on.
Mm-hmm.
Recommend roofer or whoever needs to handle it. So, but yeah, there are repairs like that I see all the time. That it's like one of those things. It's really part of the negotiating phase. A lot of homeowner buyers will ask me, "Well, what should I do?" And I'm like, "Well, it's up to you to figure out." That's just like with repair requests.
Yes.
Period.
Yeah.
I'll get the question, "Should I have that fixed?" Well, where are you? It depends. I'll say it. Where are you in the negotiating process?
Right.
I don't know what you're paying for this house. I have no idea where you are in the If you've already whittled this person down to their bottom dollar, then that changes. That's where the realtor's expertise comes in.
Yes.
Who's negotiating on your behalf? That's going to help determine what is asked for and what is not. Also, the market, what the market demands, just like you mentioned earlier.
Yes.
Right. The bedroom, the closet door latch in the bedroom.
Yes.
Should you ask that? Well, are you paying over asking price?
Mm-hmm.
Is it worth it for the seller to just take care of it and move on?
Yeah.
So,
I got an email this week about was it code in 1986 to have there was two different line items. Was it code in 1986 to have this and this? And both of them, well, the first one was were GFI receptacles code in the kitchen in 19. Honestly, I don't know. I don't know exactly what year GFIs were enforced in kitchens in Greenville, South Carolina.
Yeah.
I don't know.
or even
the
city you're in.
Right.
Yeah.
So I didn't know, but I did say, well, keep in mind now that all the contracts have gone due diligence anyway in South Carolina, so it really, a lot of these things become, it doesn't matter. It's whether you go fix it or you're not, But my response to that one was, I don't know exactly what year that code was came into play. However, that is typically a safety issue, which most people will go ahead and repair.
Yes.
Because that's the best answer I had. The other one was about a flex on the garbage disposal.
Okay.
And said, was it code in 1986 for it to be in the flex, or was it just a 2-screw?
Yeah.
And my response, because I know the electrical code states you protect any wire where it's subject to physical damage. Subject to physical damage. So that, to me, now, when I was wiring houses, did we put a 2-screw on it and throw a Romex connector and hook it up? Yes. But so that's one of those things. I think the code has always been that it needs to be in the flex because it's subject to physical damage.
Yes.
I mean, something could cut that under that sink. But a lot of times it's when when things started getting enforced in the local municipalities or jurisdictions. And I think a lot of people mix those two up because they say, was it code? Well, it probably was code. It just wasn't enforced by your local municipality at that point in time. So, a lot of times those kinds of those two questions came up this week, and I was like, but I had the answers to both of them, but it's hard to explain that exactly. Okay, just because something is code doesn't mean it was always enforced. Should it have been? Yes. But would people have done something that took them twice as long if they weren't being forced to do it? Not always.
Thank you for listening to the Home Pros Radio Show. If you have a question for the Home Pros, visit us online at homeprosradio.com, where you can also catch our podcast episodes and learn more about the topics and guests we bring to you each week. The Home Pros Radio Show is made possible by Prime Lending, RIC Home Inspections, Closing Contractor, Radon Recon, and Carolina Heating Service. If you are a trusted service provider in our area and would like to contribute to the show, send us a message through our Contact Us page at homeprosradio.com. Once again, thanks for listening to the Home Pros Radio Show.